We are following some breaking news as it relates to the Trump presidency.
It's called the largest trade deal in history.
It's a major deal. Japan will invest massively in the US in return for slashing tariffs on Japanese cars.
We worked on it long and hard, and it's a great deal for everybody. I always say it has to be great for everybody. It's a great deal. A lot different from the deals in the past, I can tell you that.
It is the most significant deal so far to come ahead of the August 1st deadline.
In this video, I'm going to cover how Trump just made Japan an offer they couldn't walk away from. And it handed America $550 billion. Because while everyone's distracted by the headlines, most people have no clue this is about to create the single biggest money wave we've seen hit American soil in decades. Here's what's really happening. Trump just closed a deal so massive, it could literally reshape how trade works around the world. It could send billions of dollars flooding into America, and it could change how regular people make money for the next decade. And this isn't hype. Reuters, one of the biggest news sources on the planet, is calling it the most significant of multiple new trade deals. So here's the new deal that changes everything. Japan agrees to invest $550 billion into American businesses and projects.
President Trump will direct the funds to revitalize the strategic industrial base in the U.S. Now, this includes energy, semiconductors, critical minerals, pharmaceuticals, and shipbuilding, ships for both commerce and defense.
That's the biggest investment from any country into the U.S. in history. And it gets better. America keeps 90% of the profits from those projects, though Trump said this, exactly how it works hasn't been explained yet.
It says Japan will boost imports of U.S. rice by 75%, effective immediately. In addition, Japan will purchase $8 billion in other U.S. goods, including corn, soybeans, fertilizer, bioethanol, and sustainable aviation fuel. And speaking of fuel, there will also be a major expansion of U.S. energy exports to Japan. The document mentions that the two nations are exploring a new long-term agreement for Alaskan liquefied natural gas. On the defense front, Japan will purchase 100 Boeing aircraft. And it doesn't stop there. Billions more will be spent each year on U.S. defense equipment to enhance alliance security in the Indo-Pacific.
You know, most people think this is just some boring trade deal. They have no idea this is about to create a tsunami of opportunity. And the smart money, it's already positioning. Here's the full breakdown of how this works. The three things that just changed. 1. Japan sends $550 billion to America. 2, we keep 90% of everything that money makes. And 3, Japanese products now get taxed 15% coming into the US. And Japan finally opens their doors to American cars, rice, and farm goods, stuff they've been blocking for years. But not everything's covered. Steel and aluminum still getting hit with 50% taxes.
Under the deal, Japanese goods will now be facing tariffs of some 15%. That's instead of the 25% tariff the president did threaten Japan with earlier.
Before this deal, Japanese products weren't taxed at all coming into America. I think it was like 2%. So even though 15% sounds like a discount, it's actually a brand new tax they never really paid before. And Trump gave them until August 1st to make a deal or get slammed with massive new tariffs. And for weeks, Japan said no. Then, just days before the deadline, they folded because they couldn't afford to lose access to American customers. That's where their companies make serious money. Trump used that pressure to force this deal. So who wins and who loses? Because not everybody wins. But the big winners here, American factories get massive funding boosts. U.S. workers, we're talking hundreds of thousands of new jobs. American farmers, a whole new country to sell stuff to. And real estate owners near new factories. I mean, demand for homes and land is about to explode. And then private lenders. You see, while banks pull back, these guys, they're stepping in and about to win big. Now, the losers. Some U.S. car makers are furious Japanese cars get better treatment than Canadian or Mexican ones. And then American shoppers, they might pay more if companies pass on the new import costs. And then Japan's leaders are getting roasted back home for caving too fast. But here's what matters. For regular Americans who know how to move fast, this could be life-changing. And this isn't just about one deal. The entire world is watching how America does business now. Trump's strategy is simple. Help America, or pay up.
And I should say as well, we also got confirmation of a deal or a framework between the Philippines president and President Trump, which is significant for this region. And this comes after the Indonesian deal, which was announced last week.
I mean, look what's already happening. The Philippines agreed to pay 19%. Indonesia agreed to 40% taxes on their sneaky trade tricks. This is where the countries were routing Chinese goods through Indonesia to dodge the tariffs. And Europe is scrambling to avoid 30% tariffs as we speak. You see, the old trade rules, they're being rewritten in real time. You know, back in the 1980s, America forced Japan to build factories here. This is like that, but on overdrive. So here are the projects that are already happening, worth over $30 billion. Louisiana, $17.5 billion energy plant. Texas, $13 billion shipping terminal for natural gas. And computer chip and battery factories are popping up nationwide. And American farmers finally get to sell to Japan. The job explosion is real. Since 2021, America has created over 700,000 new factory jobs, and we'll need millions more in the next decade. Towns that were struggling should start to boom. So if you own property in those areas or know how to rent them out, you could be sitting on a gold mine. So here's where our housing situation gets really interesting. America, as you know, if you've been watching the channel, we're short about 4.5 million homes right now. Rents jumped 3.8% this year alone. Housing now makes up almost a third of the government's inflation numbers. The people in charge figured out something huge. You can't bring back factories if workers have nowhere to live. So building homes just became a national priority if it hadn't been already. But there's a problem. In 2023, banks pulled way back from real estate lending. But when banks retreat, smart money advances. Private lenders stepped in. And they've now put in over $1.7 trillion, expected to grow to $3.4 trillion by 2030. That's money from investment companies, not regular banks playing it safe. And what this means is the old game is over. Waiting for bank approval, perfect credit scores, huge down payments, that's the slow lane. The fast lane, learning how to structure deals that don't need banks at all. And here's something most don't know. 1 in every 10 homes never hits the open market. They're sold off market before you ever see them on Zillow or Realtor.com. You see, while everyone's fighting over the scraps on the MLS, the real deals are happening in the shadows. The people getting rich right now, they're not competing with the masses. They're finding motivated sellers directly. Look, this Japan deal, it's just the beginning. Europe's next, then Vietnam, then India. Billions are flowing into America, creating opportunities faster than most people can even process. But here's what I've learned after years of watching these cycles. The money's there. The deals are there. The opportunities are everywhere. The only thing missing, people who know how to move without the banks. Because you don't actually need them. And I know you still might be thinking, well, great, but I still need perfect credit. I need 20% down. I need someone to approve me. Not true. And that's exactly why I made this right here for you. Because while this money wave from Japan creates incredible opportunities, the people who capitalize will be the ones who can move fast without waiting for banks to approve them. Here, take a look. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, or maybe I'll see you over there. Take care.